The wind is a blade. It has no edge, but it cuts flesh and bone and hope with equal efficiency. For 7 days, it has scoured the mammoth's den, a relentless predator that never sleeps. The clan, a small band of 23, huddles behind a meager outcrop of rock, their world reduced to the smell of wet fur and the grit of loris in their teeth. This is the unforgiving stage of prehistoric life, a chapter in a long and brutal hominid history. The young shiver uncontrollably, their cries lost in the howl of the gale. The old man, his face a roadmap of scars and frosts, squints into the great orient. He has seen winters that kill the strong and seasons that swallow the weak. This feels like both. Survival depends on finding a true shield against the sky itself. A young hunter, lean and hard as a spear shaft, returns from a scouting trip. He does not speak, but his eyes carry the message. He gestures with his chin toward a series of limestone bluffs rising like teeth from the frozen earth. Hope, a dangerous and fragile thing, flickers in the group. They move as one body, a slow, shuffling creature of heightened desperation. The journey is short, but every step is a bargain with exhaustion. As they approach, the entrance comes into view, a dark, silent mound in the cliff face, wide and high. It is perfect, too perfect. The air near the entrance is still, a pocket of impossible calm. They can feel the shelter's pull, a primal promise of warmth and safety that has driven human evolution for 1,000,000 years ago. The old man halts them with a raised hand. He moves forward alone, his steps cautious, every sense trailing. The ground is littered with bones, not the scattered remnants of their own kills, but the massive, splintered femurs of wild horse and the cracked skulls of bison. A deep, musky scent hangs in the air, a rank perfume of power and dull blood. It speaks of a resident, a master of this domain. The hunter joins him, his hand gripping the yew spear. Its stone point a marvel of their lithic technology, yet it feels hopelessly small. He points to the floor of the cave entrance. In the dusty limestone is a print, a partial track wider than his splayed hand, armed with claws that have etched grooves into the rock itself. These are the tracks of one of the great prehistoric animals, an apex predator. There can be no doubt. The greatest of the cats, a ghost of the Ice Age, claims this fortress. The clan watches from a distance, the promise of salvation now curdling into a new, more intimate kind of fear. The wind is a monster they know. The one in the dark is not. Retreat is not defeat. It is assessment. The clan pulls back to the relative shelter of the rocks, the oppressive wind now a secondary concern. The cave looms in their minds, a paradox of perfect safety and absolute danger. A direct confrontation is unthinkable. The lion, a ghost of muscle and claw from the deep past of prehistory, could kill their strongest hunter with a single swipe. They have seen its work etched into the bones scattered at its doorstep. To fight it on its terms is to choose a method of dying, not a path to survival. The old man gathers the hunters. There is no complex language, only gestures, grunts, and a shared understanding born of 1,000 similar problems. The challenge is not to kill the beast, but to evict it. This is a battle for territory, a fundamental conflict that has shaped the lives of our human ancestors for eons. The clan coalesces around the one tool. The lion does not possess the tamed flame. Fire is their ghost, their weapon, their shield. For the rest of the day, activity is frantic and focused. The women and younger clan members forage for anything that will burn, stripping rares in a spark from hardy pines and gathering bundles of dry grass the wind has not yet stolen. The hunters work on their weapons, not for a killing blow, but for a war of nerves. They check the sinew bindings on their spears, ensuring the leaf-shaped moose Tarian point is secure. This is their primitive technology, born from necessity and intellect. Others find thread, heavy stones, ideal for making noise, for creating a chaos the lion's solitary mind cannot process. These are the subtle but crucial survival skills that define these early humans. As dusk bleeds across the sky, they are ready. 3 hunters, the boldest among them, or chosen to carry the fire. It is an act of supreme trust and courage. They move forward, holding aloft crude torches, stout branches wrapped in pitch-soaked moss. Behind them, the others carry piles of sharp stones and more fuel. The siege begins not with a roar, but with a flicker. The first burning branch is hurled into the cave's mouth. It lands on the dry floor and sputters, casting dancing shadows into the oppressive blackness. Then another, and another. Soon, a small but persistent fire crackles just inside the entrance, its smoke beginning to snake into the depths. The clan members of the flanks begin to hammer their stones together, a discordant, rhythmic clang that shatters the natural silence. Projectiles follow not spears, but sharp sticks and rocks, thrown blindly into the dark to harass, to provoke, to deny peace. This is persistent harassment, a tactic of the intelligent mind against the strong body. For a long moment, there is only the sound of their assault. Then, from the deep recesses of the cave, comes a low, rumbling growl of pure indignation. The beast is confused, its sanctuary violated by light, sound, and the acrid smell of smoke. The unseen king is being challenged for its throne, not by a rival predator, but by the relentless, coordinated will of these ancient humans. The answering roar is not a sound. It is a physical force that hits them in the chest, a tremor that travels from the stone floor into their bones. For a heartbeat, the coordinated assault falters. The rhythmic banging ceases. The rain of stones stops. Primal fear, cold and absolute, asserts its dominance. In that silence, the beast in the dark is king again. But the old man barks a command. A harsh, guttural sound that cuts through the terror. It is the voice of desperation, the will of a community refusing to break. The clan redoubles its efforts, a frantic, chaotic symphony of noise and fire. They all know the line between survival and annihilation drawn at the mouth of the cave. The breaking point comes without warning. A shadow detaches itself from the deeper darkness, a fluid nightmare of muscle and fury exploding from the smoke. It is not a retreat, it is a charge. The cave lion bursts into the firelight, immense, terrifying, a creature from a world before humans held dominion. A young hunter on the flank, caught between shifting his grip on a rock and reaching for his spear, is too slow. The lion is a tawny blur. There is no fight, only impact. A single, sweeping paw. The sickening crack of bone and a scream swallowed by a guttural snarl. The beast does not linger. It is a force of nature escaping its cage, carving a path through their ranks and vanishing into the grey twilight of the steppe. Silence descends, broken only by the crackle of the fires and the low, agonized keening of the slain hunter's mate. The victory, if it can be called that, is paid for in blood. The cost of their new home is marked by a body growing cold on the frozen ground. They wait, listening to the wind, every nerve screaming. Minutes feel like seasons. Finally, the old man takes a torch and steps across the threshold. One by one, the clan follows him into the belly of the beast. The cave is a cathedral of stone, shaped by the waters of an ancient earth. Far larger than it appeared from the outside, the air is heavy with the wild, musky scent of the departed lion. In the torchlight, they see the grim evidence of its long tenancy. This is a scene that future sciences like paleontology and archaeology will try to piece together from fragments. In the back of the main chamber lies the predator's larder. The taphonomy of the site tells a brutal story: the splintered leg bones of an ibex, the skull of a wild ass, the massive vertebrae of a bison. They have inherited a kingdom built on slaughter. Here, in the flickering light of their hard-won shelter, a truth is passed down not in words, but in a shared, chilling glance. It is here we invite you to add your mark to the wall. Subscribe, and become a fellow chronicler of this long, unbroken story. Deeper in the bone pile, the old man uncovers something else. A piece of a hominid skull, small and weathered, bearing the unmistakable puncture marks of a great cat's canines. They were not the first of their kind to see this perfect homin pay the ultimate price. They have not defeated a monster. They have merely claimed its throne and inherited its enemies. They are the new apex predator of this rocky hill, and the weight of that crown is heavier than any stone. We pull back from the flickering firelight, from the scent of blood and ozone in the silent grief of the clan. We see this single cave not as a unique location, but as one of countless contested spaces across the vast, frozen continent. This was not one battle, it was a war of attrition waged over millennia. A slow, grinding ecological displacement. I were one not with the brute force of fang and claw that had defined life for 1,000,000 years ago, but with the quiet power of the collective mind. The profound leap of human evolution was this: the ability to see a future benefit that outweighed a present danger, and the communal trust required to act on that foresight. The instincts forged in that sage, the calculated risk, the coordinated harassment, the sacrifice of one for the safety of many did not die with them. They became the bedrock of our own societies. The ancient software still running beneath our modern consciousness. Those neural pathways, carved by fear and fire, echo in every team that faces an impossible deadline, every town that sandbags a rising river, every time we choose the long-term survival of the group over the immediate fear of the individual. And so, we are left with a question that hangs in the cold air like frozen breath. How much of what we call civilization is built not on the foundations we laid, but on the thrones of the monsters we had the courage and the cruelty to displace? The fire casts long shadows. The stories are told in silence. We are only the keepers of the echo. For the greatest threat is not always a beast in the dark, but a change in the sky itself.